John Owen-Jones, how are you?
Hello, I'm very well, thank you.
It's a real pleasure to talk to you again. I talked to you about 4 years ago when you were doing it, and you're still doing it now. Are you not sick to death of this role?
No, I'm not. I deliberately paused then just to keep a bit of suspense, but I don't know what there is to get sick of it. I mean, yeah, you do the same thing night in, night out. It's exactly the same, but at the end of the day, it's a very privileged position I'm in to do something I really enjoy doing. So if anybody ever asks me that question, I'm going to lie anyway, right, for a start. But to be truthful, I still really enjoy it. Having said that, come February 2005, I will be leaving. February 26th is my last performance as a Phantom. Actually,
why have you made that choice now?
Because 3.5 years is an awful long time to do the same role, and what it can do to you is actually it can remove that element of an actor's life. You know, that basically my life is very safe, right? And when I trained as an actor and when I first started out as an actor, that certainly wasn't I was hungry for new challenges and stuff, and staying at Phantom has facilitated my life in the way that I've had a family now, and you know, I can afford to do things I wasn't able to do before, and you know, and now I want to get out of that comfort zone. So you know, I'm looking for new challenges.
Do you know what you're going to do, or is it all open?
It's all open. There's a few things up in the air, but I don't really like talking about them because I don't want to jinx them.
All right, okay, we won't do that. I spoke to Hugh Panaro on Broadway last year, and he was talking about this role and saying that there have been many Phantoms in the past that have gone slightly nuts doing this, let alone for the length that you've done it. Yeah. How do you keep yourself normal? Because the one thing about this show is it's incredibly dark. It's lit darkly. The subject is dark. I mean, it's a dark show, isn't it? With quite big demons in it.
Perversely, it's actually easier to do a show like that, right? Because there's less work involved. It's difficult to describe. Okay, if I was doing What a Carry On, the musical, right? I was having to do like gags every night, right? To keep that fresh and to keep doing that is a lot harder. To be funny and to be happy and up all the time is a lot harder to do than to actually play someone who's tortured and twisted and miserable and nasty and psychotic.
It's unheard of how long you've been in this role. I mean, you're certainly, I think, the longest in this country ever, and possibly in the world. I don't know of anybody who's been in it longer. Do you?
I don't know if I'm the longest ever. I mean, I definitely am the longest in London. Possibly in Broadway someone has done it longer, but I'm not sure how it works on Broadway. I'm not sure if they do like a 6-month contract, like a run of show contract or what. I mean, I'm pretty sure somebody's done it for like 4 years there, but I don't know. But I'm definitely also the youngest and the longest running London Phantom.
I mean, that's got to be a huge compliment to you, the fact that they've not decided to get rid of you, because this is a really hard business. If you started missing notes or you weren't up to it or you got bored with it, they'd kick you out straight away. They can't muck around with this role, can they?
No, it's big business. It's big money for them. They've got a project to protect and promote, and if they've got someone rubbish in it, they'll get rid of them.
The clever thing about this show, it's still quite breathtaking to say how old it is and how theatre's developed and the things they now do. For example, The Lion King and shows like that, they get the stage to do all kinds of things. This is still breathtaking in parts, isn't it? The things they do with the stage and the set.
If you look at a show like Phantom or Les Mis or anything like that's been running quite a while, all the ingredients are there. The storytelling is good, the set is good, there's a spectacle to watch, you know. And also, these blockbuster musicals generally came out when all this new technology was just coming to the fore, and you know, I mean, if you go to Disneyland or something like that, you're going to see some spectacular things. That's where all the real exciting theatrical innovations are coming out of, is Disney World and Universal Studios, because they have the money put into it, you know. And in the 80s, the money was there in the West End and Broadway, you know, so you probably wouldn't have Disneyland the way it is today if it wasn't for shows like Phantom of the Opera. I don't think that's ever been said before, actually. For Phantom to be running for quite a while, I think it's because it just works, you know.
Very finally, before we talk about you, if they offered you this role on Broadway, would you go?
Yes.
Would you like to go? Have they offered you? Have you talked about it? Have you said, please take me, will you have me?
We have talked about it, but it kind of, again, I don't really like talking about this kind of thing, but yeah, I would certainly love to do it, and they have said that they would like me to do it, but it all depends on if and when.
I suppose the other difficulty you've got is the family. We can see the pictures behind you. I mean, you'd have to take them lock, stock and barrel. You couldn't leave them for 6 months.
They'll be going with me wherever I go. My wife and I had a pact some time ago that, you know, my my job and my lifestyle is financially could be the most rewarding, so it would make sense for us to go wherever I need to go, you know. Plus she's also a qualified school teacher, so she could teach the kids.
One of the things I was going to mention to you is doing this in the theatre for 3 years must be a strain with the same building, the same thing. It's also nice because you've got your home comforts. Touring is a very different kind of thing. Would that excite you now to be doing different theatres every week?
No, I'm not really a big fan of the touring lifestyle. I do like rep, though. I like repertory theatre where you do a different production, you know, you swap roles and stuff. That excites me, and I did do that a couple of times. I did that at Regent's Park most recently. That kind of thing really excites me, but actually going on the road doesn't really do anything for me. I don't really enjoy travelling.
I don't blame you. It's not a very fun life, is it? Although, you know, I suppose if it pays the bills.
Yeah, I mean, well, basically a car for me is something that gets you from A to B, you know, and I don't want to spend all my life in a car. I'd rather spend it on the sofa watching the telly.
I don't blame you. Let's talk a bit about you. Now, I got to meet you a few years ago, as I say, when you were first in the role, when I was at BBC in Leicester. And then this summer I've been in Wales. I was interviewing a guy from Bat Boy the musical, and I said, you must be the most famous, you know, star.
You mean Wyn Moss?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he said, well, no, of course I'm not. John Owen-Jones is. And I couldn't believe that you were living literally doors away from where I was living in Bury Port.
Yeah, well, actually, there's a youth theatre there run by a guy called Chris Rees, and there's a guy at the moment in the West End who's understudying Toby Stephens in Hamlet, who's also turned down like some work in some like major motion pictures to do like RSC work. There's myself, who's in Phantom of the Opera. There's Wyn Moss, who's in Bat Boy. There's a guy who's in The Graduate, and we've all been in the same youth theatre. It's quite remarkable, actually. A couple of people are now writers and directors, and funny enough, I was on tour a long time ago with Les Mis, and one of the band members came up to me and said, "Oh, hi, John." I said, "Oh, hi." I said, "Do you remember me?" "No." "I played in the band in Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat when you did it in youth theatre, and now I'm in this band on tour with you." And I'm like, Jesus, you know. So I mean, it doesn't surprise me at all. There's some very talented people from my hometowns.
And there is something about the Welsh being able to sing fantastically. That isn't really a myth, is it?
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't want to implode the myth, but my dad can't sing to save his life. So, but my brother can, and my sister can, and you know, I can. So, I guess it just goes around. I think it's something to do with the way we talk naturally. That it's just lyrically you can like sing. You know what I mean?
Your dad might not be able to sing, but he does do a good steak.
He does. Thank you for mentioning that. He'd be very glad to hear that you mentioned he's a butcher, and Elgin Jones and Sons Family Butchers, 66 Station Road, Bury Port. 01554832421. They do great steaks, great sausages, and award-winning faggots.
But how then did you go from, you know, turning steaks to singing in the West End? I mean, were you always destined to be in show business and not in butchery?
I have no idea. I just I knew that I wanted to do something for a living which didn't require much work, and I thought acting might be the way. And then I found out, quite to the contrary, it is actually really quite difficult. So hoisted by my own petard there. But no, butchery and like all that kind of thing was always in my family, farming and that kind of stuff. But I found out from my grandfather on my father's side that my grandfather's father and all his fathers before him and loads of members of the family were all award-winning singers from my Eisteddfods and things like that in Wales. So, and I didn't know any of this until I decided I wanted to be an actor. But actually, I've got to say, I didn't actually want to be an actor, not a singer. I found out I could sing quite a while after trying to act, you know. So my first role was in West Side Story, but it was a non-singing role, you know. So, and I was in youth theatre, and it's just something that I just always was a performer, you know what I mean? I bet you hear that a lot when you interview actors. I was always the one, you know, standing on the table singing along to Tom Jones when I was 5. You know what I mean? So.
And how different you are now singing Phantom of the Opera.
No, it's Tom Jones trousers. They're tight trousers, and you know, I don't do as much wiggles, but yeah.
Would you do me one favour this evening? Stick Delilah in the middle of Phantom of the Opera?
No, I don't want to get sacked just yet.
Congratulations again. It's the Phantom of the Opera. It's on at Her Majesty's. How many years has it been running now?
18. It's going into its 19th year, I think, very soon.
Incredible. And John Owen-Jones is, without question, one of the most fantastic Phantoms that there's ever been, and that's the reason it's been in it so long. Very finely, could you give your dad a ring and get him to save me half a pound of sausage?
What flavour would you like? They do an awful lot of varieties.
Oh, really? Maybe the tomato one. That'd be nice.
I reckon the dragon flavour sausages would be up your street.